For
And
taste some more it's encore.
yes, yes. No, but like actually. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Call Time a Theater Pod, where we talk about it all in this space because every role in theater matters. And this is the space where we laugh, learn, and call out the chaos. So sign in on the sheet because it's call time. All right, so my guest today is someone who I hold near and dear, even though we've only worked together once. But that's the power of theater, and I am so freaking excited to have him on my show today. I would love to introduce to all of you the amazing Beaux Emerson. Beaux, hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me on Call Time. I'm excited to be here. That's all I have to say.
I'm excited to have you here, and that being said, let's take a look at what's going to happen on today's show.
You may have just inspired the next Viola Davis or the next Daniel Day-Lewis. You just never know. I don't want you to be on somebody's casting couch doing God knows. Part of my punishment was to watch soap operas. And so...
That was your punishment? Wasn't that great?
That was something else. that was
That was certainly something else. I love it. I love the vibe. So, Beaux, to start off, I got a question for you.
Okay.
In my heart of hearts, I truly believe that there is good theater cringe and bad theater cringe, and I would really love to know what you would put in those categories.
Okay. I will say good theater cringe is, I think I was in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and I had a scene where I was going up, I had a singing line, I had two lines to sing, and I'm supposed to be going up these steps. And I sang the first line, started going up the steps, had water in my hand, a little wine to be debonair, and I forgot the second line of the song. And so I literally just made myself drink and trip at the same time because I forgot the line, because I was not going to mess up the line. So I just tripped with a little bit of water and, came down the steps. So it got a good laugh. The cast knew. It was like, oh, he forgot his line. We got the second line of the song. But it was like, yo, that is hilarious because I'm trying not to break character because he just fell. So that's good theater cringe.
I love that.
And bad theater cringe, I hate to go here, but I would say I watched a video of The Color Purple done by an all-Caucasian cast in Europe.
Shut up.
Yes. And so there was a Caucasian Sealy, singing I'm Here. So, if you want to look that up, you can just type in Color Purple Europe.
Oh my God.
I'm bringing you some stuff.
That is bad theater cringe.
That
without
is bad
a doubt.
cringe.
Oh my God. I'm trying to fathom it, but then again, similarly, I saw a video that a friend of mine sent me of a high school in California who did hairspray, but instead of making characters black, they made them Asian, and they even changed a lyric. Let's just say once a month they got oh God, please forgive me for what I'm about to say. Once a month they have their Ching Chong Day, and I think about that maybe twice a year.
And so this is okay. So this is really funny because Grand Theater Road Company just did Hairspray, so I just got it, and it was excellent. And so, one thing people will come to know about me is that I was not a theater kid. So a lot of the all of these shows and even the movie adaptations of shows I haven't seen. I'm just a good singer who can really act, and you just get thrown into stuff. And so it's amazing to see these shows, and you talk to people and they're like, did you see it? And I'm like, I don't know a show until I'm in it. And then afterwards, it's part of my memory. But hearing you say ching the ching and thinking about how I just saw Hairspray 2 weeks ago.
It's fresh.
Hilarious.
God. All right, so our topic today is kind of an amalgam of things, but when we were discussing this, we were talking about, how
Mhm.
to take hold of your life and redefine what your dream is
Yes.
for yourself. And I think this is a very, very relevant conversation right now because pursuing an arts career post COVID is completely different
Mm.
than what it used to be. At
Oh,
least in my experience, I would say when the shutdown happened, were you getting ready to do a show or were you auditioning? Like what were you doing when that happened?
when the pandemic hit at my day job, it was kind of like, oh, there's this kind of sickness going around, and people kind of like, stop. Okay, 1, 2 cases, it's gonna be, we're good. And
Mhm.
then all of a sudden, it was like, it went from, sorry, fake news to legit people getting sick and dying. And I think once the world kind of halted in March, I don't recall that I was in a, I don't recall that I was in a show at
Oh.
that point. I think I had wrapped up filming something that like that December. Oh, I know this. That December, I believe I did the Nutcracker dipped in chocolate. I believe, and as I was the narrator
Whoa, that's
for
cool.
that.
I like that title.
Oh, I do that every year now.
Ah,
This year, this December will be the fifth annual. But I think that was the last thing I did. And then, I have an agent and things like that. And so we were shopping around for some auditions. But most of the time, it was you're doing things in person. It wasn't, self tape and stuff wasn't really a big thing until COVID.
yeah.
It's completely again drastically changed stuff. Yeah, but I don't think I was a part of any show or in the middle of anything. I think it was kind of a, oh, this is a little break, and then the world stopped.
Yeah. And I say this, I know it's like a weird phrase to say in this context, but like I since you weren't doing anything at the time, you were kind of like one of the lucky ones who wasn't cut off
Yeah.
from doing something. I remember I had just come back from being abroad. Like like I watched the sunrise of January 2020 on top of a mountain,
Oh
you
wow.
know, and then I came home like a few weeks later and like things were brewing.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, we'll figure it out. And then I had plans to go move to North Jersey, New York adjacent with
Hmm.
my brother and start really putting in the grind to
Yeah.
auditions. And then it
World stopped.
the world stopped. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I know a lot of arts people felt restricted in a
Hmm.
way from being able to do what they do. I mean, we can post content all we want, but there's nothing like the live experience of
Yes.
being in that space. And I did virtual theater. I did script readings over the time as well, and
Yeah.
that's fun. But like, of course, the in person, it
Yeah.
just it's so much better. And it brings me to my hot take
Uh,
that I would love your thoughts on.
okay.
During this time, I thought to myself, you know what? It is okay to let your passion be a hobby for a
Mm.
while you continue to build yourself up and figure out who you are.
I think that is a great point. I think that um like I said, I have a 9 to 5, and I went to school. My grandmother, I was raised by my grandmother for the most part, and her thing was, you're talented, you can sing, you can act. Grandma's not saying that none of that is true, but there's so many
Mm-hmm.
people who are just as talented, if not more, who are trying to do something. And there are also people who are less talented and just by the stroke of luck or genius or who they know can be successful. And you can have everything and all your ducks in a row and not make it. I want you to go to school for something that you like. That way, grandma knows that you're not going to be on somebody's casting couch or having to do something that you don't want to do, a la
Mm-hmm.
P. Diddy's trial or Harvey Weinstein, as we see
Oof.
now.
Mm-hmm.
And so she said, I don't want you to be caught up in any of that type of stuff
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have to be. So I went to school for something that I liked, and that has helped sustain me. And it's also helped fuel. I've taken a lot of those paychecks to pay for headshots, to pay for acting classes, to pay for media training and all that kind of stuff, because I believe that you have to, you want it more and you appreciate it more when you've invested the time, the money, and the knowledge and the blood and the sweat and the tears into your your craft. Um, and so while I like to say that I'm using the 9 to 5 to support myself and support my dreams until my dreams can finance my life.
Yes, exactly.
Mm.
Ex- Beautifully said. There was a mindset for a very long time. I had this mindset where, okay, you want to do this one thing? This is the only thing you're going to
Mm-hmm.
do nonstop, grind, 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 until one day you really don't want to do it anymore
Mm.
because you're sick of it. Even if it's something that you love, which you don't want that,
Yeah.
really. You know, if you want to stop, it's on your own terms, but like having something else to balance yourself
Yes.
is so much better for your
Yeah.
mentality than
Absolutely.
anything else. Oh my gosh. So I appreciate you saying that as well. That also just completely validated a thought I had earlier in my anxiety moment. So thank you.
Of course. Of course.
Appreciate
If
that.
you're a vessel. I think too, because we and here's another thing too. We're living in a day that it's fame, 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 fame. I want to be famous. I want to be famous. I want to be famous. And there is a cost to that.
Mhm.
I look at somebody like a Michael Jackson or a Beyonce who forever in their existence, as long as they are alive on this earth, they are going to have security, and they're not going to be able to go to the. Well, he can't because he's gone. But I mean, yeah, right. Or so they
Right.
say. No, but people, really, really famous people, they can't go out by themselves anymore. They don't really have the beauty of the anonymity, so to speak.
Mhm.
People are always diving into their business and rumors and all these kind of things, and so
Parasocial relationships. Oh yeah.
yes, yeah, exactly. And so I think for myself and a lot of other people like us, it's not about fame. I want to earn money and earn a living? Absolutely. When the day comes that where I can earn my salary and then some off of acting and singing gigs, then I'm completely great with that. I don't have to be the number one on the call sheet. I can be supporting or whatever. That doesn't it's immaterial to me. Uh, and if I do get some type of recognition for the craft, I want to make sure that it's something that can't be taken away because somebody says, "Oh, you did this, so you have to do this for me now, or else I'm going to expose you." You can't expose me for anything because I didn't sell myself or my soul to be famous. And I
Right.
think in this day and age, especially with social media that has come up in our era, there are a lot of people who become social media famous and can't do a lick, can't sing live, can't tell a joke live,
Mhm.
have no good character or moral standing or moral compass. And so you get to see that. And so I'm glad that I took the path that I'm on. I call it the take the stairs effect. Because if you take the stairs, the higher you climb, your body gets used to the altitude. If you take the elevator and go straight up, you have no time to adjust.
Ooh. Oh my god. Wisdom. Such wisdom. I love this so much. Oh my gosh.
It's truth. I mean, I don't, because I love the craft of acting so much now. I think something that we have is a special, unique gift that we can become other people, that we allow ourselves to decrease and allow these other people's lives, other people's energy to come into us, and we're able to tell their story, and
Yes.
it's a magical thing that happens.
Oh.
It's a surreal experience that happens,
Mhm.
and then you're able to, even if that character or that person is not who you are at your core, you're able to learn something about yourself playing that character.
Yes.
You learn something about the character.
Yes, that is actually the number one question I will always ask at Q&As is what did you learn about yourself during this
Mm.
process? Because like yes, there's only so much amount of empathy you can have for another person or a character that you don't know, but you can still understand how it makes you feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that you said about the how much you love this
Mm-hmm.
because joined Actors Equity
Mm-hmm.
because that was a goal of mine for a very long time. It had been a goal of mine since high school to
Well,
join Equity.
congratulations for doing that, though.
Well, I would say don't congratulate me because I actually left. I left Equity. I
Okay.
made that decision because you know I had it and I was like, yes, I'm proud of myself. I earned that, and I leave that still as a win.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm auditioning, I'm not booking.
Mm.
And it's a rule that you can't audition for things outside. You can't audition for non-ec
Yeah.
when you're in equity, obviously.
Yeah.
So that was also very limiting. And I thought to myself, why did I actually want to join equity?
Mm.
It's because I wanted to expand the horizons of auditions and I
Mm.
wanted to get into bigger rooms and I wanted to make these connections and do all these things. But then I started thinking of it more of, are you thinking of theater on the business side, or are you forgetting about why you did it in the first place?
Mm.
I had to like refine myself, and I remember the moment because I was sitting on the couch and I said, wow, I just want to work.
Yeah.
I just want to work. And I love being on stage and working no matter where. I've done, you know, big grand theaters like the Lavoie. I've done holes in the wall. I've done literally hallways. And like it's that's the joy. I want to get back to the joy that
Mm-hmm.
theater brings me. And that's one of the reasons I started this podcast is because I wanted to connect with the community
Mm-hmm.
that also finds joy in what we do.
And I have to say, like I told you offline, off camera before, that I don't know. Well, I was going to say I don't know why no one else had started this particular podcast, but in my mind, I'm like, oh, duh, because it was meant for you to do it. Because you think about it, that this is something, and I'm saying it now, and I hope you receive this. This is something that I feel will be. I speak Broadway stars as guests. I speak all those beautiful things from the community role, community actor to 6-time Tony winner Audra McDonald. Like, uh, um, because your idea and what you're doing is something that all theater people, whether you're in front on stage or behind the scenes, can identify with, because there's props, there's the director, there's the assistant director, the stage manager, there's the
Mm-hmm.
supporting cast, there's the ensemble, there's the main characters, there's
Yeah.
costumes, props, there's all the things that go into uh, theater that then can transition into television and film. Uh,
Yes.
so I just completely see even bigger and greater things for this particular podcast. All right, I'm done.
Oh,
I just wanted to tell you that.
well, thank you. I'm gonna cry. This,
No
I'm not
tears.
gonna.
No tears.
I'm not. Let's go ahead and I'll do the thing. Okay. Now is the part of the show where we would normally have an ad read, but I don't have those yet. So we're just gonna sit here and stare at the camera. We are back at Call Time a Theater Pod with Beaux Emerson. Beaux, so it's interesting that you mentioned you weren't a theater kid growing up, which is something I didn't know about you. And so what you were genuinely just trying to say is that you're a natural, because
Me. Oh, well,
I'll say it for you. You're a natural. I mean, listen, because I worked with you, and your voice is velvety. You have wonderful presence. Like, you're a very talented actor. You got it, baby. And
thank you.
yeah, of course. And so the first thing I want to ask you is, now that I know you weren't a theater kid growing up, did you always know what you wanted to do with your?
No,
No.
no. To hear my grandmother and my mother and my family tell, I started singing when I was like 2 or 3. I used to sing uh, Simply Red, if you don't know me by now. I used to sing that, and I used to sing another song called "Shower Me with Your Love," and they would watch me do that. And I had a big Sylvester cat, like stuffed animal thing. But I wanted to be a news reporter at first. Growing up in Philly, uh, and this is in like pre-K kindergarten. Um, Action News would come on, and so me and the one girl would sit down and we would turn our little plastic chairs around. And I don't know how I knew to do this, but I would have construction paper, and we would hum the Action News theme song, and I would pretend to be Rick Williams, and she would pretend to be Lisa Thomas Laurie or Monica Melpass, and we would like do news, but it was literally like what happened on Sesame Street and The Puzzle Place and Lamb Chop. So
Primetime shows. I love that you chose those shows specifically. That is amazing. Amazing.
so I used to talk a lot. I used to get in trouble for talking a lot. So I always had a gift of speaking. I was never afraid to speak in front of people at all. I'll come home from school, do homework, and then I would go across the street to play. And my one friend, David, had this big yard. And so it was David and my other friend, Terrence. And we would play. By this time, X-Men had come out, Power Rangers had come out. And so we would literally just play. We would make up our own episodes of Power Rangers and X-Men, and we would be our own
Mm-hmm.
storylines, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And so and so at that time, at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, you're using your imagination to become. I'm becoming characters, and I'm shooting blasts with my hands, and I'm doing karate kicks, and I'm just becoming these characters for 3 hours. Maybe four nights a week outside, climbing stuff and doing front flips and things like that. So I think that's where it was kind of nurtured. And then also when I got in trouble and would get suspended, I know.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
I know. Part of my punishment was to watch soap operas. And
That was your
so
punishment?
that was my punishment. So I had to sit and watch General Hospital, All My Children, Young and the Restless when I would misbehave. And so all those things I
Wow.
think kind of just bubbled together. And then I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be a lawyer.
Fair
Go
enough.
figure. I wanted to
Go
be a lawyer.
figure.
I didn't want. It was so bad that I had a like an Office Depot catalog, and I would be like, "Oh, I want my desk to be that color, cherry wood, and I want my carpet to be royal blue, and I want the things that hang up here." And then I got to high school, and it was like, "No, you can sing, you can act." Because I think the first show I did was Wizard of Oz. I was Professor Marvel and a flying monkey. Um,
Nice.
so I just you know, kind of put the being in front of the cameras. I put the actor in the back burner, put the singing in the forefront, but then when that didn't work out quite like I wanted it to, I kind of just dialed it back and then decided to go to school for legal stuff.
That's incredible and
Yeah.
very unexpected, but also very relatable because, uh, I grew up in a theater household, but I very vivid memories of being in kindergarten and at recess. My best friend Jake and I would reenact the Dexter's Lab theme at
This
the opening.
indeed.
Yeah. And we would just like go back and forth, like he would be Dexter, then I would be Dexter, and we just would reenact openings to cartoons. And then, I always loved theater. I did. And then I really got into science. And I almost went to school for robotics.
I could see that.
Thanks, you're the first person to say
I
that.
could see
Uh,
that.
because I really loved just like building things with my hands, and it
Hmm.
was it was robotics is such a fascinating subject in general.
Yeah.
And then I got tired, and I remembered that I like robotics, but I loved being on stage with theater
Mm-hmm.
club in high school and performing in community theater and all of that. And I went, you know what? I'm gonna put the robotics in the back, and I'm gonna focus on the rest of this because even now I'm like, you know what? I can use the skills and knowledge that I still retained from robotics and use that now because that's how I actually got into building props and stuff as well, and everything that comes to that. Actually, fun fact: when I was 12, like I would say 12, almost 13, I was in a production of The Wizard of Oz. I was the tallest munchkin, and because everyone else was like a child, and I
Ah.
was and I was like a tween. But my dad was the stage manager, and so he was also props master. So I would help him build stuff, and I got to help build the little device that went on the witch's hand to make fireballs.
Okay.
And we still have it. We still have all of the stuff that we've ever made, including all the robots
Wow.
and stuff. And I'm like, huh, I think I'll come back to this later. So even now, I'm like, you use everything that you got.
Yeah.
You literally create your own path. And so with your path, as you got older,
Mhm.
How did you define success in what you were doing then?
I I took a detour because literally, like I said, I put the actor.
Yeah.
You know, my parents are ministers and all that kind of stuff, so always sang in church and did like church plays and stuff like that. But I worked for Abercrombie and Fitch for 8 years or 6 or 8 years. I was one of the models.
I was gonna say you
Or
must have been one of the models.
and then I became a manager and then moved to the back and all that kind of stuff. So I spent a lot of my time doing that. But I think in that time, um, I met people, and they would have conversations about, oh, are you going to be a store manager? Are you going to be a district manager? And while I thought that was my path of success that I wanted, but then the music and the actor in me, uh, it was almost like a knock on the door, and it just you would start to hear the knock, and it just wouldn't go away, and so it got louder and louder and louder. So I eventually left the company. I didn't really know what I wanted. I went to school. I went to school for legal stuff, but then I also went to school for audio engineering, so I know how to operate a recording studio.
Fair.
But ironically enough, on Craigslist, which I don't even think it exists anymore, I saw an ad for a singing server on the Spirit of Philadelphia, and
Oh.
I went to the audition, nailed it, and for summer, I sang, danced, and acted for every Sunday or every other Sunday, twice. So you're talking about 225 people each sale. And so again, that reignited the one, oh snap, I can really get paid to do I'm good enough to get paid.
Yeah.
Not that I'm so great, but I'm good enough to at least get paid to do this. So
Mm-hmm.
that sparked me to go back and find auditions, and then I found on an audition for The Color Purple, which led me to The Grand, which led me to
Yeah.
become Harpo, and I remember having a conversation with the director who's now deceased, Suzanne, and she said, "Listen, you can sing, you really can sing, but you're an actor." And she said, "You have something natural that I haven't really seen in a while, and I want you to cultivate that." She said, "I'm not saying that I don't want you to, take lessons and singing and all." She said, "That's fine." She said, "But acting is your key. That's you have that, and she said, as you grow in it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But there's things that you do naturally that take you to another place when you're on stage and even when you're off stage." And so that was like, oh, well, maybe I really do have something. And so then the goal became, I need to do more of this. How do I do more of this? And that led me to, everything. I think my path to success ultimately, I just want to be a working actor and musician, and to really tell stories of the human experience.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and I think that is a gift. It's something that I believe that you're forever learning about yourself. I'm of the mindset that my gift, my purpose and path in this life is to number one, be an encourager to people, to the human soul, because we all go
Check.
through so much that, I mean, in any given, especially those of us who are artists and creatives, if you peel back the layer, sometimes we're considered weird or the oddballs, or no matter how talented you are, it's like, and so that with that comes, it's almost like a duality. It's you have the gift of becoming other people and singing these songs and transforming people to other places and times, and at the same time, you can be ostracized or talked about or made fun of because of those gifts. And so when you have to marry those two, I think you have to find success in one, being who you are and true to yourself. Um, and then that'll lead you to make the right choices. You're not going to make them all the time, because I certainly haven't. But you're not going to sell yourself short, I think. And I think my path is to just be an honest artist, be an artist of the times and reflect the times, encourage people, help start conversations, not necessarily to change people's mind, but to make people think.
Obviously, being in the arts field, people give warnings when you want to be in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know what warnings you were given and how you handled any obstacles that were, looking to maybe have you fall into tropes that you were wary of.
Oh, wow. I mean, that is a good question. Well, number one, again, like I said, my grandmother told me, I don't want you to be on somebody's casting couch doing God
Yes.
knows what.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't necessarily define somebody's orientation or anything like that, because people will do things even if it's not who they are, what they want, just to get to the next thing or to become famous or to get money or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
she never wanted that for me. That was one thing to make sure I didn't fall into. Two, not being a jerk and always trying to keep good character, because it really is true. People may not remember what you said, but they will remember your presence and how you made them feel. And so, if you can be on time, if you can speak to everybody, you don't have to get to know everybody in terms of like being friends necessarily, but if you're cordial and pleasant to work with, even if you're not the most talented, people are more inclined to work with you than they are to work with the person who has the best voice, best dance moves, can act their ass off, but they are a horrible human being.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, and then I think the other thing is to always, because I think we all feel imposter syndrome sometimes. We may feel like we don't deserve to be in the rooms that we go in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning that this is not life or death. It's me, especially doing something like auditions. This is just my version. I don't know what you told me what you want, and I'm going to follow that as best I can. But I'm also going to give you what I think the character should be, and this is a chance for me to play. And I'm giving
Yes.
you I'm playing this and giving you my interpretation. And if you don't like it, I'm not sad and broken and disgusted. And my life's not over. There's more auditions. There's other plays. There's other movies. There's other television. There's other songs. There's other things to do. It's not the end of the world.
That's one of the number one things that I tell my students. And I emphasize, how many times in your life do you get to go into a room, have undivided attention, and get to sing the songs you want, get to read the monologues you want, get to say the things that you
Hmm.
feel express yourself the most,
Yeah.
and have fun with it.
Oh
And
yeah.
you don't have many opportunities to really do that. And I,
Uh,
I want them to take advantage of that and really just enjoy it
And
and
you
be
learn.
present, and you'll learn so much. That being said, I want to know about some of the opportunities that came from all of this that have really brought you that happiness and joy and creativity, and things that you've learned if you didn't book it.
I have an agent, and I've had an agent for a few years now.
Shout out.
Um, yes, applaud talent. Thank you, Gail. My acting coach said, "Listen, I'm gonna put you on scholarship." And I said, "Oh," he said, "because I don't do this for many people, but again, you have something special." And it wasn't any type of crazy skeevy kind of thing. It was genuinely like, "I believe in you. You're on scholarship. That's a blessing. Thank you, God."
Mm-hmm.
And then from being in class, people took notice that, oh, okay, like this person, like this guy is, good. And then he comes in one day and says, okay, you're gonna audition for an agent. And I was like, oh my god, yeah, you know, because I hadn't done that before. I got the sides, and it was one afternoon, and it was me, and there was like 10 other people. And one thing I want to say to people, anyone who sees this, be prepared for your audition.
Yes.
Do not, even if you forget your lines, be present.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you when I was watching those other, because it was nerve wracking because it was a virtual audition, and so you could see everybody and you could see each person as they came up. So we're watching these people do their auditions for the casting agent and her daughter, and so you would see people not be prepared, not dress the part, not flub their lines, and just completely fall apart. And I'm thinking, okay, I know not to do that, not to do that, not to do that, not to do that. And I did a Nike commercial audition for them and got it. And so from there, she started sending me out to places and things. And I did stuff with Netflix. I got to work with Adam Sandler and Queen Latifah in Hustle.
Oh,
Uh,
awesome.
movie. That was a great experience because he's so down to earth. Both of them were so down to earth. And what I learned from that experience is to always be kind to your audience. Queen Latifah, and I will sell this story until I see her again. She had finished filming it. We were out in 97-degree weather. They were setting up the basketball scene.
Mm-hmm.
She got done, and in Philly, oh my God, it's Queen Latifah!
Of
And all the
course.
kids are running in there, and all the kids with their parents and stuff like that. And so she tells her driver or bodyguard, whoever it was, she said, just wait a few minutes. She goes over to the gate and she talks to, there had to be at least 10 kids with their parents or whatever. She talks to all of them.
Oh.
She stops and talks to all of them, signs autographs, spends maybe 10 or 15 minutes with them, and then goes and gets in her car and goes away. So you've been outside all day in this heat, sweating and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You take time, an additional 20 minutes that you didn't have to go speak to these kids and their parents. You never know how you may have just inspired the next Viola Davis or the next Daniel Day-Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
You just never know. And so I've learned that every person who speaks to me about a role that I've done or anything like that, I try to give everybody the same amount of respect, each human the same amount of respect. I've done, through my agent, I was a finalist to be a main performer to open one of the Disney things in Japan. I didn't
Wow.
get it. I didn't get it, but the fact that, one, Disney saw me, Disney knows my name,
Yeah.
and I was, out of thousands of people, I was narrowed down to hundreds, narrowed down to, tens of people. And even though I didn't get it, it was like people saw my face. They have me on tape. Even though I didn't book it, people still know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so sometimes you're not going to book it, but you've played and it all works together. It all works together for us. I think meeting people like yourself, doing, community theater and things like that. And I would tell people, do not sleep on community theater, regional theater,
Mm-hmm.
because these are some of the most talented people that I myself have been able to be in the presence of. And that goes from the props person to the director to
Mm-hmm.
dancer number five to, singer number one.
Yeah.
Um, and the level of commitment, sometimes because you're not paid, but it's just because you want to exercise your gift or you want to learn more about yourself. Because if more people took a theater class, I think the world and these United States would be a much, much better place. I think those are some of the things that I'm proud of, and releasing my own music, writing songs and things like that. I'm doing national anthem for sports teams. My goal is to uh, be an EGOT, and I have no problem saying that. That is
Yep.
my ultimate goal,
Yes.
uh, and not necessarily in terms of, well, let me put it this way. I actually want to be a double EGOT,
Ooh.
and so what I mean by that is my inspirations are Whoopi Goldberg, John Legend, um, Viola Davis, and even Jennifer Hudson. Um, and I say it double EGOT because I want one set that is just strictly performance based from me doing the work of my craft.
Yeah.
The other set, I want it to be for me helping somebody else achieve theirs.
Oh, that's wow. Wow. That is that is like the kindest thing I think I've ever heard in my life. And that is, I mean, I'll just say it now. It is written. It is written. I see that for you. I've got that vibe from you from the moment I met you. So it's written.
When working for is,
We're
listen,
working for
one
it.
day closer. That's my new mantra is one day closer. Early on, I was never confident enough in the gifting of acting and singing to say that I'm going to go audition to get a 4-year degree and maybe go to Juilliard or something like that. If I had to do it all over again, I probably would because I believe in myself. But it took time to get to that point. But the fact that I have sharpened my skills along the way and that I'm at the level where you would assume that I've been a theater kid or you would assume that I've been,
Mm-hmm.
singing all my life or that I may have a degree and stuff. I don't. but but that doesn't mean that you still cannot achieve uh, uh, your goals.
Wonderful. If you had a time machine and you were able to go
Hmm.
back and go to your younger self, your child self, doing, your news reports and doing your Power Rangers,
Hilarious.
all that play. What
Yes.
what advice would you give them?
Oh, I would say love yourself more.
Mm,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think I think I would tell myself to love myself more. I think uh and when I say love yourself, I mean like to love you, the love the 8-year-old you, love the 6-year-old you whose mom got sick, and didn't know where food was going to come from at some time. Love the 7-year-old you who, had to move because financial things had gotten hard. Learn to love the 8-year-old you, the 13-year-old you, who wanted to get into one school and they told you no, but you did well and you scored well and you hated yourself for that, but then things worked out and you got into that school anyway. But yeah, just to love yourself. I think,
Mm,
yeah,
that's beautiful. That's
which I
beautiful.
think we all can do.
All right, so it is that part of the show that I keep saying everybody loves, and you know what? I'm gonna say it. Everybody loves this part, which is the green room games.
Okay.
Royalty-free music, green room games. One day I'll get a jingle. One day. But the game that we are going to be playing today is the ever popular Scene Stealer, which is where, Beau, you are going to choose a show that is already in existence,
Hmm.
and you're going to self insert into that show, not as a character, but as you, Beau.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about how your presence may change the plot, and you might just steal the scene away from everybody there.
Okay.
So, what show did you have in mind?
Well, there's two.
Ooh, we can do both. I'm
There's
ready
two.
for that.
Okay, so one show is Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, yeah. I love Buffy. Let's
Yes,
go.
yes, yes.
So, what you up to in Buffyland?
Well, in Buffyland, this is taking place in episode season 2, becoming part 1. I am in the library when Kendra, the vampire slayer, comes in to fight everyone and fights Drusilla. And I am there to witness when Drusilla puts Kendra in a trance. Does my presence stop her from dying?
Ooh, ooh. Okay. I love how you posed that as a question too, because now we got a cliffhanger. I love that. Ooh, okay. Come on, Hulu. Let's bring that. Let's make that happen. Listen, you got your man right here. Come on, Hulu.
Go to rewrite. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be a good thing. Insert myself there,
Yeah.
reading a book about slayers. A
I love
guy
it.
reading a book about slayers. The other one, and this is in dedication to my aunt Lillian. She loved General Hospital, and so General Hospital was one of the things that I watched, of course, when I was on punishment. And so it would be me at the nurses' ball this past Friday when Michael Corinthos comes in and takes his son home.
Ooh.
Michael is supposed to be in recovery from a bunch of burns. No
Yeah.
one knows. No one knows that he is back in Port Charles. And I'm a male nurse at the nurses' ball, being a waiter, serving drinks.
I love this. I also love how you're inserting yourself in ways that are like subtle but noticeable. I love that. That's oh my god, that's so unique. I also just want to say as a fun fact, I was born on a commercial break from General Hospital. I was born during that, and that's when I said to my mom, obviously not at that exact moment because I was being born, but
Yes.
like I'm saying
Yeah.
recently, where I said, and that's when you didn't know I would become an actor.
I think, well, one of the things that used to grab my attention, which I think is a lost art form now, are theme songs for shows and opening
Yes,
credits. And
yes.
one of the things that grabbed me with all my children's theme song was the fact that they would do it was like dun 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 dun, and it would show all the characters, but they were in picture frames, and then it would start doing like Polaroids of the other characters on different beats of the song, and I thought that that was just at 4 and 5 that grabbed my attention.
Yes.
And then General Hospital, One Life to Live too, but General Hospital singing um, and this is funny, but so, and the soap opera opening credits would be like, dun, 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 dun. And so everyone's doing their entrance, and they're like, and they're doing all their faces. And I thought again at 5 and 6, like that is so interesting.
Yeah. Yes.
I had a nerd out moment, but
no, I love that. Please continue to nerd out. This is the place to do it. If you are ever in need for an audition song and you really can't find like a musical theater piece or a mainstream piece that works, do a theme song, because they're short. They can show off whatever you need. And
for Jason Morris encore.
yes. No, but like actually. But like actually you know what I'm gonna put together for you? I'm gonna put together a really nice audition medley of jingles and theme songs just for you. That way you can use them, because like that is it's unique. They'll remember you, and it's just fun. Well, honestly, going back into this, Beau, you have stolen those scenes without a doubt in my mind. And I need you, not just in lead roles, but I also just want you now in the background of every show. Just doing something. Just doing something. What I want to do is turn our attention to our audience for a little talk back time. And I have posed a question, which you can find on our Instagram account right here. The question I posed was, what does success look like for you? And what's one step closer to that vision? Because a lot of people have different definitions of success and things that they want to do to move forward into that. And so the first response I have here, they wish to remain anonymous. They said, if you treat the arts like, quote, I need to make it onto this stage or this show right now to be successful, you've already doomed yourself. Bad art is valid. Good art is valid. Doing your best in each venture is what is important. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Another response I have here is from Alex, who says, success to me is knowing that when I'm done working a job, I feel like it's okay to leave and I can move on to the next thing. And so when I book a job, I do everything that I can, and then I put it away.
Okay.
Interesting. You know what? That is a really interesting way of putting it, because, like, you want to be in that moment, you want to savor it. Sometimes I like to let things linger because you want to have, like, that wonderful memory, and you want to be able to, if you are able to talk about it and not signing an NDA or anything, you want to share this with the people in your circle. But, I would say maybe immediately dropping it. I don't know how I feel about that, but I understand the overall message. So much to everybody who contributed to this talk back time. I highly encourage you to not only send over your responses on Instagram when we post them, but put them down in the comments. If you want to keep up with all the shenanigans, go ahead and like and subscribe, and you'll get notifications about everything we're doing, because I'm learning, I'm growing, so are you. Let's do this together.
Right.
And speaking of which, Beau, I want to know where people can find you. What are you up to, and anything that you're working on?
Well, you can find me mostly on IG. IG is the number one place to find me, at Beaux Emerson. And that's Beaux Emerson.
Yeah.
And then I'm also on YouTube officially, Beaux Emerson. And I just launched my first podcast, Watch What You Say podcast. Intentions and Instructions is out now on YouTube, and it will be coming to Spotify and Apple Music.
It's fantastic. Congrats on the pod. That is
Thank
awesome.
you.
I will definitely be checking in and listening because, like I said before, I could listen to you forever.
Ah,
And you exude such a warmth and a genuine, just wonderful aura that I feel like you contributing what you have to say to the podcast world with the topics that you have in mind, a blessing in itself. So
thank,
very, very excited. And I'm going to put all this information in the description below as well as on screen so people can connect with you.
thank
Bo,
you.
Bo, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank
I,
you.
you're a joy. You're an absolute joy.
Wise, again, I hope that you guys realize that this relationship, friendship is uh, I mean, we don't talk every day or anything like that, but it's been since we've shared the stage. We went through the rehearsal process and shared the stage. Um, I mean, there's certain connections that you're going to make as you grow in your artistry and even have a career, whether it's a big famous career or local. You meet genuine people, and you are one of those genuine people. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of what you've done. Again, don't stop. And like I said here earlier, that this is a podcast that will, like I said, you will have the first person who just had their very first audition to Tony winners, and you'll have an an EGOT and a double EGOT when I come back.
Absolutely.
Or even as I progress in my career, of
Yeah.
course I'll stop that.
Yeah,
But
you are
but
welcome here anytime.
but continue being you. This is a great podcast, and I think that so many more people are going to be so inspired by what you have to offer. So, and that's not to make you cry, but
Thank you from the bottom of my heart. That really means everything. I will say that forever and ever. Be so freaking grateful for the encouragement and the love that you have given me, that people I've been working with have given me. Like it really motivates me and really reminds me who I'm doing this for.
right.
And I'm really looking forward to the journey this brings. And with that being said, you have just listened to a wonderful episode of Call Time, a theater pod. I thank you. Thank you genuinely, all of you who are listening, watching on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on wherever else you may get your podcasts. Thank you so much for tuning in and signing in on the call sheet. So my name is Marisa Helene Mast. You're the audience. Bye-bye now.